to be truly good at it. But we're all human. You're going to make a mistake, especially if you're learning. And that's something that you have to be okay with on your own. Well, if it's constant mistakes, then that's something that, there's something there. I would say 5 to 10 years to truly grasp the information, to be able to work more independently and not, not always having to ask for help. Be patient and to stay dedicated and to make sure to balance work and home life.
So, welcome to the Job Dictionary podcast. Today, I will be interviewing Laura Bustamante, who is a paralegal and works for the law office of Javier Villarreal. Hi, Laura. How are you doing today? Thank you for being here.
Hi, Alexia. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, of course. We're super excited to have you on. So, 3 questions that we always like to start off with are, in your own words, what do you do?
Well, I am a paralegal here at the law office of Javier Villarreal, and I work daily with my clients to try them and bring them the best resolution possible in their time of need, depending on their case. A lot of our clients come in here and they have no understanding as to even where to begin when they are injured.
Right.
Either from a motor vehicle accident, or from personal injury. Let's say slip and fall. And we're here to help them with that.
Awesome. And then where are you located?
We are located, the specific address is 2401 Wildflower Drive, Suite A, here in Brownsville, Texas.
Brownsville, Texas. South Texas, huh?
Yes.
All right. And then when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be an FBI agent.
Okay.
So very, very different.
We kind of stayed in the same law enforcement area, umbrella, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah. And then how long have you been working in this industry?
In the industry, I've been here for about 22 years.
22 years.
22 years, yes. Yeah, let's say for the first 16 or so, I was on the opposite side. I was working for defense counsel. And now about the past 7 years now, I've been here with the law office of Javier Villarreal working for plaintiffs.
Wow, that's so awesome. What do you feel are kind of like the differences between what you used to do before and what you're doing now? So kind of the criminal civil side.
Well, I didn't work criminal. It was still civil, but just for the insurance defense. And it is, it's very similar, but I always feel like now working for the plaintiff, you get to see more of them on a human level, and you get to empathize with them more, and you get to see the struggles that they're going through daily as a result of an accident of any kind.
Right. What made you want to get into this field, and how did you get your start?
I got my start when I was a teenager, going to high school. One of my first little summer jobs was being a file clerk at a local law office for an attorney who is now a judge. And my mom was the paralegal there for him, and she was just like, "Hey, come on, wake up. Your summers are not going to be lazy.
Right?
You got to get to work and come help me file." And that's what I did, and I liked it. I enjoyed it.
That's so interesting. So did you kind of like fall in love with it right away, or was that something where you were like, I like this, but I don't know if I want to pursue it?
I liked it, did not want to pursue it. Like I said, I wanted to be an FBI agent. I wanted to be in more action. But what I did enjoy was just helping people, being able to help them.
I love that. And what did you study in college?
In college, I did study very different also. First, starting my basics, I wanted to be a biology major. Because I did just the science of it all. But, it took a different life path, and I'm here where I am today.
Awesome. Are there any certain degrees or certifications that one may need in order to do your profession?
I've learned, I do not have a degree. I do not have a certificate for paralegal studies, but I have learned that there are certain people who have gone out and they do and get their certificate. They do get their paralegal studies certification. And it does help out from what I've seen with the basics, the language, knowing what certain documents are. But it's not until you really get the opportunity to be in the field and work with people in the same paralegal field, or just, attorneys and secretaries and receptionists, that you finally get to understand how to implement what you've already learned.
Right. So you would say that it could be helpful, but it's not necessarily something that you absolutely need in order to be successful in the job.
I would say that yes.
And what are the specific tasks that you spend the majority of your day doing? So kind of describe this as if you were describing it to like a younger child or someone who has no idea about this industry. What exactly do you do?
I meet with my clients, I talk to them, I gather the information about the background of their case, and so we are able to answer questions that the defense counsel may have overall about the accident itself. How are my clients feeling? What is it that they need to be doing? What is it that any type of investigation that I need to be doing on my end, not only for my clients, but also investigating the defense and their drivers,
Right.
their companies, that to see how many times they've been in accidents. It's a lot of investigation,
Mhm.
so there's still that law enforcement side of it that's there.
That little FBI moment, you still got it.
Yes.
What parts of your job are the most exciting or interesting to you?
The most exciting would have to be when it comes to depositions. The attorneys are learning more and more about not only our clients, but more and more about the defendant and how it is that they're describing the accident. Catching defendants uh, in little lies. They say it one way, but police reports and investigation and everything else says it was the other way. And of course, trial. Trial is so interesting. It is, you never really know what's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, you can go in there with a plan and one thing changes and you're definitely doing something else.
It's like an improv class, kind of, if something changes. You're
Yes,
just like, I have to figure out how to keep going from here.
yes, and keeping your cool and rolling with
Yep.
the punches is definitely something you have to learn how to do.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, what parts of your job are hard or emotionally draining or challenging?
Challenging. Um, Not every case is, winnable.
Mm.
You see the clients that unfortunately that they can't receive or can't be made whole because there's simply not enough to make them whole.
Right.
When you see the devastation in their eyes when you tell them, "Hey, I'm sorry, the person or the company that hit you, they didn't have enough money in their insurance policy."
Mm.
And unfortunately, yes, it boils down to money. But just to see the clients just go from being able to try to recoup some money just to pay medical bills or, unfortunately bury a loved one.
Right.
It is very devastating to see that, and you can't help but empathize with them.
Right. I can only imagine. And then what are kind of like any
Mm.
tips or how you deal with that kind of challenge and that kind of burden that you feel on kind of separating that from your work and your life?
It's hard at
Mm-hmm.
times. Sometimes you go home and you do, you take it with you. You can't help but take it with
Exactly.
you. But you read a book, listen to music, try and clear your head, go for a walk, talk it out, even just talking, as much as you can without revealing too much, just to say this is what happened, and it really does help.
Yeah. So, kind of to move on to some rapid fire questions, so these can be answered in little short increments. What is a day in the life of in terms of wake up time, clock in, clock out?
Okay, wake up, hurry up, get dressed, already have the outfit laid out in the morning, feed the cat, run out the door. As soon as you get to the office, you have to have coffee.
Right
Coffee,
away.
and then you just start your day. Look at your calendar, look at your emails, which is already filled with emails, and then just maintaining your deadlines.
Right. And is it
Yep.
kind of, I'm thinking in this industry, it's always fast paced. Is there ever a moment where you feel like it's more slower or you can take a breath, or is it just go, go, go all the time?
It is, you do have your moments.
Hmm.
They're far and few between, but you do have them. And that's when you can be like, okay, let me organize the chaos that's on
Yeah.
my desk. But, let me put that one piece of paper away. But for the most part, it is fast paced.
Hmm.
But there are those little moments of where you can breathe.
Of breathing time, exactly.
Yeah.
And what is the percent of time that you spend doing solo work versus collaborating with others?
I spend about 80% of my time doing solo work
Right.
because I've already, once you're in the industry and once you're on your own, doing your work. Yes, you work with your attorney, but you already know what they're going to anticipate. Have this discovery been answered? Has this motion been drafted? So you can already anticipating what the attorney needs is about 80% of what you're doing and being able to work independently.
Awesome. And what does one typically wear to a day on the life of this job?
Where?
Yes, like clothing, business,
Like clothing.
professional.
Oh, business professional. If you have a nice button-down blouse, pants, slacks, that's perfect. Heels or no heels, I think as long as you are comfortable and dressed well.
Right.
Yes, have some makeup on. Yes, pull your hair back. That's always a plus. But it is, also something that you need to be more comfortable with.
Right. So just kind of,
Don't get me wrong, we do definitely have our jean
yes,
Fridays. So,
always, always a Jean Friday.
yes.
Which parts of the week or the month or even the year are the busiest for you?
Usually, the busiest for me are October to December.
Right?
It's right around the holidays. People want to settle their cases. Clients would like their money. They want the case to move along, and it's the holidays, so a little bit of extra spending money never hurts anybody.
Exactly. And probably also the time that people can get to have off. They just want to take the
Yes,
advantage of the time.
yes,
Do you
definitely.
work in office, remote, or hybrid?
I work in office. And I do have the capability, though, to work at home, but our office is definitely, we work in the office. We just feel it's more hands-on. You've got everything that you need here.
Exactly. And then when it comes to the office, what tools or technologies do you have provided that you use for the job?
I use my computer, my monitor, keyboard. We do have our office phones, printers, you know, tablet,
Mm,
anything and everything. I even use my cell phone from time to time to contact my clients.
yeah,
They always know that they can reach me. Yeah.
definitely. So, what is something that you feel people underestimate about this profession?
Underestimate. Um, Probably the amount of work and probably organizational skills. That is something that people probably just think that, you get to work on one thing at a time. I'm sorry, but no, you definitely have to multitask.
Yep, it's not
Yes.
always one thing at a time. Sometimes you have to balance juggle the multiple things, right?
Multiple things, clients, multiple files, and, anything else that happens to be thrown at you.
Exactly. And then on the opposite side, what do people overestimate about this profession? So this can be something that's like an overhyped idea or it's super positive or super negative. What do you hear that's kind of overestimated about what you do?
Probably people think it's a lot like your favorite TV show.
Mm.
Suits I know was a popular one.
Yeah.
You get to high paced and there's drama everywhere. It can actually be a little mundane at times.
Mm.
A lot of times because you kind of get into a routine. So there's this thought of there's constant drama. There's something always going on in the background, or it's extremely fast paced and people are having calls
Hmm.
and meetings. That is quite can be quite the opposite. It can be very smooth, very simple.
That's interesting. That is a different idea because I feel like on the media and like in TV shows, like you were saying, it's kind of like this chaotic environment where there's like people running everywhere and stuff flying in the air. So that's an interesting take.
Yeah,
And
yeah. It can be mundane.
yeah, what are other fields that people come from before getting into this profession that you typically see?
I have seen people come from being in the accounting department.
Hmm.
They've come from school districts as well. They've also come just straight out of school. I myself was straight out of kind of out of high school, a little bit of college,
Hmm.
and it is as long as you're able to grasp the information, want to learn more daily, weekly, monthly, and be able to understand, that's the best thing that you can do. But all sorts of fields. There's not one field where I can say that it's you're only coming in from the school.
Right.
You can come in from anywhere you want as long as you're able to grasp the information.
Interesting. And what does someone have to be good at and like doing in order to be good at this job?
I would say being organized.
Mm,
Even if it's a organized mess,
yeah.
it's still your mess. But if you know where that one piece of paper is, or you know where you saved something, and you're able to recall that information, be deadline oriented, I believe that that's something that can really help you out.
And with all of that, how long does it usually take for one to get good at this job?
I would say it takes about, uh, it could take anywhere between 5 to 10 years, to be truly good at it. But we're all human. You're going to make a mistake, especially if you're learning. And that's something that you have to be okay with on your own.
Right.
Well, if it's constant mistakes, then that's something that, there's something there. But but yeah, I would say 5 to 10 years to truly grasp the information, to be able to work more independently and not always having to ask for help.
Awesome. And what does the typical promotion path look like in this field? Is it something like from entry to the highest position that you can hold? What is like the average time that people spend? Are there positions? Just what does that path look like overall?
I would say that it's the if the person is eager enough, if they want to learn more, they feel that they can do better, and just want to advance on their own, you can start off as a file clerk, become a receptionist, become an assistant, become a paralegal.
Mm,
If you want to take it a step further and become an attorney, well, that's definitely a lot more schooling, but it can be done, and it has been done. I've known, paralegals that they went to college and they've done it,
right.
and it does take time, but it also takes dedication.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of like any other profession as well, just time and dedication, the
Yes.
biggest factors.
Mhm.
So if you could give me kind of like a range, or even if it's just like a broad range of an average salary of a paralegal, what does that number look like?
I would say a broad range is going to be about 30
Mm-hmm.
to 70,000 per year.
Mm-hmm.
And that could also range, like also if you're on the plaintiff side or on the defense side. Each firm is different. Some people work hourly, some people work on salary. But between the 30,000 to 70,000 range is definitely something that I would say,
Got it.
especially here in the valley. Maybe up upper Texas, might be a little bit more due to cost of living.
Right. And when
Hmm.
people in your field move on from the paralegal position, what kind of work do they often go into next if they move on?
From what I've seen, they take on something totally different.
Mm,
They'll either I've had a friend of mine who went back to defense work. I've had one go back to the DA's office. Just something a little bit slower pace.
okay,
It all depends on how fast you want to work and then the environment you're in,
exactly.
and family.
Exactly. Kind of just moving on to that different life period or just a different position can kind of influence, their own mood and personal life as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, what books, resources, programs, or anything of that sort do you recommend to somebody who's wanting to get their start in this profession?
Um I personally do not know of any specific book,
Mhm.
that although there is one that I did read recently called Fireproof, and it is from an attorney who's trying to grow his business, and the ups and downs of it. It is it's nonfiction, but it is definitely a good book to pick up and just to learn how dedicated some people can be.
Right. And are there any of those books or resources that you just mentioned that you do not recommend that you've heard people talk about? Something that you recommend people stay away from, or is everything just kind of welcomed?
Everything is welcomed. Yeah, you can always you it's amazing how much you can learn from any type of book, especially when it comes to like investigation.
Mm,
If you want to see how someone, can tell you about a quick path to learning how to investigate something. As long as you have an investigative mind, I think that's something that can definitely help you out in this profession.
yeah, something that's just going to kind of grab your attention because when you have it,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so just to kind of wrap all of this up, what is something that you would tell your younger self who was just getting started in this profession?
to be patient and to stay dedicated and to make sure to balance work and home life.
Awesome. Well, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing all of that, Laura. We really appreciate it.
Yes, you're welcome.
Awesome.
You just got one episode closer to learning about the world of jobs out there. To explore the rest of our career categories and find your best fit, go to jobdictionary.com to sign up for the beta users waitlist. Then subscribe here to find the next episodes coming out this week. And as always, drop us a comment, review, or message to let us know how we can better attune our episodes to your specific needs. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, Threads, Pinterest, and wherever else you're on socials to go get our short, snappy preview reels that expose you to new job options every day. Because here at Job Dictionary, we believe your big aha moment can be just one scroll away. Go check it out and get out there. Cheers!